Underhill coming up on OTB. Derek Stingley Sr. is a regular here on Tuesday mornings, presented by City Cafe, our good friends. Where good friends meet over there on O'Neill and George O'Neill, serving boiled shrimp daily. Got oysters to choose from. Great lunch specials every day. City Cafe, br.net, online. Hit them on social media.
So good. So good. I mean, they've been around for over 100 years, man.
Coach Stingley is the defensive backs coach over at the Dunham School. His son, Derek Stingley Jr., the best defender in college football. Put the helmets and shells on yesterday. Some one-on-ones coming out of Jamar Chase and Stingley. Love to talk about those battles. Coach Sting is here with us. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Media is banned from practice, or dads?
No, not really. Coach O has an open door policy for family members.
I bet they do. No inside information, nothing that you can't report. Just tell me what you saw that stood out. I guess that from 30,000 feet.
Actually, I wasn't there yesterday.
Wow.
You're the Dunham School. We had practice yesterday. So I just heard what was going on from Derek. I talked with him later on that night.
What's his point of view about getting back onto the field?
He excited because now they're actually doing football things, outside of just walkthroughs and a lot of meetings. But now they get to do naturally one-on-ones that everyone saw on social media, 7-on-7 team stuff. So now they can compete more and put everything together on the defense side of the ball from what they've been learning from Coach Pelini.
What'd you make of the schedule?
Oh man, I was glad that it was released. Great that we got, in my opinion, I'm not saying there's no softballs in the SEC, but we got some warm-up games before we really get into it. So that's pretty good to know that, not to say that we just go in there and dominate, but we should win those first couple of games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the first three pre-Florida, definitely winnable games. But the Mississippi State one is interesting, just given that it's going to be Mike Leach. It's going to be the Mike Leach passing attack, and obviously Derek is going to play a huge role in trying to shut that down. From a coach's perspective, what do you think it's like preparing for a team that has a brand-new coach, a new quarterback that you don't really have film on, at least not Mississippi State film?
Right. Well, what you do is, naturally, you have to go back and figure out the offensive coordinator, wherever he was the previous year, watch his concepts, see what he likes to do in certain situations, third down, short yardage, coming out, big plays. And then from there, it's you already know the personnel because the vast majority of the personnel was there last year when they all were playing them in 2019. So you just got to glue it and piece it together and then make it make sense because most of the times, coordinators, they are who they are. They're going to do what they're comfortable doing because they have success over the years with certain plays and certain situations. So from a coach standpoint, you basically just go off of that. And then with the personnel, you just have to look at what they did the previous year on, what type of athlete they are, if they're good at run blocking, if this is their better route. These are the things you just got to be prepared for.
Derek Stingley Sr. joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. As a defensive backs coach, just as a coach and an approach, you see Jamar Chase on film. How do you defend him?
It's tough because he's physical. He's going to create space. And Jamar, he's one of those receivers where he really enjoys the DB to be up on him to where it can be more so power against power. If the DB doesn't have real good strength, Jamar's going to get open. And Jamar gets open even with space. He's the best college wide receiver that there is right now, and he could have easily been in the first round this past year as well. So with that, you just gotta have a little patience. You probably got to stay up top on him a little bit more, drive downhill on the shorter balls, make him have to, beat you with his route running instead of in a short area where he can create that mismatch by getting you off of you, getting you off of him. I'm sorry, to the point where now you're in a compromised situation because now you're out leveraged because he's going to get you away from where he's trying to go. And it's tough. It's tough. And these are talks that I have with Derek about not just Jamar, but anyone that he's going up against. and the battles that they've had, they've been epic. And just to see the ones that was out on social media yesterday, it's some vicious one-on-one play between those two. But
Yeah.
sometimes it becomes 2 against 1 because I think Miles dropped the ball in like right over the shoulder of Jamar, which was a great catch, great cover, great route, all the above. But it's going to be that way. It's going to be, two alphas going at it to where what do we want as fans? Do we want Jamar to catch every ball? And then what do they say about Derek? Do you want Derek to deflect or intercept every ball? Then what do they say about Miles or Jamar?
Yeah.
So from the LSU standpoint, you just got to sit back and enjoy it because these are what make those players better when they have these type of battles.
It is the absolute example of iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, 100%. And as you just alluded to, Coach, and this is kind of it might be a dumb question, but I want to get a defensive backs coach perspective on it, and that is the role of the quarterback in all of this. Because you're absolutely right. Like, Derek makes Miles far better. He makes those windows smaller. He pushes his accuracy. So when you're game playing, like, how much of a role can the quarterback play? Can you have perfect coverage and the quarterback just beats you?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, that ball can just be put in a perfect place to where it can be almost like a 50-yard handoff. The receiver did everything right. The DB, he did everything right, and it's just that the ball placement was just perfect to the point where there was nothing that the defensive back could do. And if Miles is seeing that a lot against Derek and Cordell and Eli and Jay and Ray Darius, I mean, it's making him better as well. It's making him have to make sure that he's putting the ball to where only his receiver can get it and not the defender. And that's good for all three parties involved from every point of view. So it's a good thing that Miles is seeing that, and it's a good thing that the receivers and the DBs are doing what they're doing now to make sure that we're probably one of the better teams in the SEC and ready to go come September 26th.
When you saw the news of Kerry Vincent opting out for his senior season, who was the first guy you thought of that was next up?
Oh man, Todd always came into my mind because they were kind of the same player last year until Todd got hurt. But then Mo Hampton, because he can do those things too. Mo can play in space, and Mo can also play man to man because he was a corner in high school. And Mo is physical, so he brings a different element to that nickel position if that's what it's going to be. But then I'm pretty sure they're going to switch things up. They may have a nickel cover guy and a nickel safety. So when I say nickel cover guy, it could be any one of the corners. It can be Jay Ward. It could be Ray Darius. It could be Cordell. It could be Eli. It could be Derek, for all we know. And then if you want to go with just a true safety, now you could put in Mo Hampton or you could put in Todd and you have that flexibility because those guys they're all good and they're all good for what they can do. And the good thing about it is Pelini gets the opportunity to mix things up and create some mismatches against certain offenses.
When you see Vincent play, what are the things he does good that translates to maybe the next level?
Naturally, his speed.
Mm-hmm.
His speed is off the charts. He could bait some throws. I know he had a few catches caught against him last year, but some of that was leverage and scheme. But the kid, this is another guy that was a corner coming out of high school, and then he was forced or placed to have to play nickel and some off leverage coverage that kind of went against him. But he has good range. He can get from sideline to sideline if he has to go back and play at the safety position. He's a great blitzer. I don't know how many times we've seen him in the backfield over the years throughout his career at LSU. So, I think it's going to translate to the NFL, and I think he's going to test off the charts when he goes to the combine. So that's going to wow every NFL team. So you can't teach speed. He has that, and then you have to take that because you can always teach him a different scheme or different technique. But if you got that God-given speed that Kerry has, that's unteachable, and NFL guys look for that.
One of the things that looks like Derek has naturally that I know that you've instilled in him since he's been a kid is his mental ability to kind of just play down in, down out, forget the last play the next play, and onto the game. I ask you this wondering, Does he have any motivation this year? Does he have a game? Does he have a player? Does he have anybody that he's looking forward to more in particular? Or do you answer that in the public?
He, he has motivation. I think we all know about the motivation that
Speedy
he
Smith? Devontae Smith?
Well, put it this way. He knows he's going to get everyone's best.
Yep.
And it's not just game day. It's also practice.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to actually understand that, dial in a little bit more, be ready. He can't take a play off, those things. And yeah, he does have I'm gonna forget about this next play. I'm gonna forget about this play and move on to the next play mentality. But he is still human, to where he knows that he has some pressures on him to be a certain guy, and he's a perfectionist. He hates to fail. But the good thing about Derek is, he don't really make the same mistake twice. Once he learns it, once he gets it, he kind of gets by it. And those are the conversations that him and I have. It's like, okay, how do I get through this? And I always make him talk it out. Okay, what did you do? Or what did the receiver do? Or was it the throw? Or tell me about the middle of the route. Why did you do this? And then he started talking out. Then he said, oh, yeah, that, that's not going to happen again. And I said, correct. That's how you coach yourself. That's how you get yourself better. You look at yourself. You scout yourself. You have to do things differently. You can't just go up there and just assume just because you've been good for so long that you can just go up there and just go through the motions and win every route. You have to come with a whole nother set of tools at times just to become that guy that's special. He has that in him. So, he just got to dial in just a little bit more and understand that he's getting everyone's best, no matter it's practice or game.
Yeah, and to Coach Stingley's point, I mean, just look at last season. Alabama gets him with that fake look over, right? And then Ole Miss tried it, I think, 2 weeks later, and it didn't work at all. So, never make the same mistake twice.
The only unanimous freshman All-American in program history and in college football history on the defensive side of the ball, Derek Stingley Jr., his father, Derek Stingley Sr., with us every Tuesday, presented by City Cafe. Enjoy the oysters, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later.